Kia ora everyone, haere mai. Welcome to this new episode of World of Warships. Today we're playing my favourite scenario, me and my friend Zulu, and another guy that we picked up who was quite a good player. He was Italian, so he spoke, him and Zulu were doing a lot of talking together. Today this is a replay that I played, and this was a great game. I enjoyed it a lot. I think Zulu enjoyed it until he got blacked. It was a great game in the Scharnhorst, which has got to be the king of Narai in my own mind. And while we watch this, and hopefully you enjoy this, I'm also going to give you some little tips on how to play Narai, so hopefully you'll be able to get 5 stars on it as well. And the first thing is know where the ships come from. There you see your first 3 ships appear: a battleship, cruiser, and destroyer. The best thing to do here isn't what we've done necessarily. Like if you've got a good reload, then you can do it. But as soon as you spot the DD, try and get him taken out first. I'll explain why in a little bit. But if you're able to get the cruiser down before the DD's even spotted, then by all means, go ahead and do it. It's not actually an issue. It's not a guaranteed you'll lose a star from not doing it. But the reason I do say try and get the DD taken out as quick as you can is because at some point his torps will load and he will send them off in the direction of the Liberty ships. I've only seen the Liberty ships get hit once or twice, and that's generally because someone's rammed into them and they haven't been able to dodge the torps. But the problem with it is that your Liberty ships start veering off course, and it becomes a lot harder for them to stay at full HP because they're no longer in the circle. Now the next thing here you'll notice is that this ship has appeared, this cruiser, a DD, a destroyer, and everyone who's watching this probably knows what I'm referring to when I say DD instead of destroyer. But you've also got a battleship. Now it's very easy to get your guns lined up on the cruiser and just typically black. Biggest problem I've had this game was German dispersion. And I didn't seem to be able to get to the right angles on that battleship either. It's not a big issue. This stage of the game, most of the time your allies will be able to take the ships out. No one will, unless they overextend, no one's typically going to lose a lot of HP or die. People do sink quite often early on because they do overextend, so try and make sure you stick together rather than racing in front of your teammates. Now the next thing you'll see me do here is I'm getting ready because I know where the next ship's coming out. It's the Dallas, and you'll see it pop up in a moment. I'm trying to get my guns there ready. Unfortunately, I went a bit close to the island, so I wasn't able to, even when my guns did get around, I wasn't able to shoot over it. That was a balls up on my part, but we'll live. this game. Well, I'm not going to say we'll live because not everyone in the team does. Now you notice what the Fiji and the Algeria are doing. One's going to one corner of the map and the other's going to the other corner. That's the thing you want to see, is one cruiser going one way, one cruiser going another way. You don't want to send battleships there typically, unless you end up with no choice, because cruisers are best used in those areas. Where the Fiji is going, there are going to be transports appearing and a destroyer that's protecting them. The best thing you want to send, or the best ship you want to send, would typically be something that has Hydra. I've been called out, I've ended up in a battleship and no one's been going for it, and it's like, dude, you gotta do it just to make sure you get 5 stars. So I've had no choice but to go in a battleship on the odd occasion, and I've been destroyed because I've taken out torps. And normally it's not too difficult. You should know roughly where torps will be coming, when they'll be coming, but you can also be caught out if you get too focused. And that game in particular, I think I was getting a bit annoyed because I want to be in the centre, which is where the battleships should be. On the other side, the Algery, where he's going. There's going to be a Lexington turning up there, and his job will be to take out their Lexington. But there will also be a destroyer and a cruiser, both of who have torps, and that's, again, you want to send a cruiser that has Hydro. You don't have to, it just makes life a bit easier, and you'll get a better chance normally of getting 5 stars. Now, you do really want to be careful with this Missouri. He can take out a lot of ships in just a single blast. Like the amount of times I've been in the Shores, which is my other favourite ship for Narai, it's just a perfect ship for it. I've been taken out because I've overextended and he's taken me out. But you want to send the battleships through the centre areas here. They can go through the channel, and you can go through the section that I'm basically looking at there, and you'll be fine generally, as long as you've got enough battleships that you can tank, and that everyone can, you get enough fire down to take the enemy ships out, or take the bots out. And when it comes time to get in there, you're just on your feet. It's constant action. It's a lot of fun. One of the things I like about the Scharnhorst is he's got a very low reload time. So even though his dispersion isn't very good, and he hasn't got the highest caliber guns you can get for a battleship at this tier, it's really good to be able to take out cruisers at almost any angle, and battleships that show you broadside. And trust me, you get a lot of broadside battleships, so you can actually do a lot of good damage here. So there you can see the Dallas popping up, and there will be another ship, a destroyer, the Campbelltown there, and they're your first threat when you first go into the, I think it's called the Haven. I've forgotten now. I don't normally pay attention to what it's called. I just go into it and do my business. Again, you do want to be careful of torps, but you know torps are coming in, and as soon as you clear the area there, you know that you should be able to clear it. The torps will be a little way on. Just turn around, cut your speed, you should be fine. And if you can get some shots off on the Lexington, you can do so. I normally don't like people doing that if I'm going after it. But I definitely appreciate it when people take shots at the cruiser or the destroyer. Now you will see me looking over towards the carrier quite a bit in a moment, because that Algery didn't manage to take him out, and I kept looking, trying to figure out, can I get shots on him, can we take him out? You need to take him out because that's a star. The more stars you get, the more XP, the more credits, free XP, commander XP, everything you get. So if you don't get 5 stars, it's not really worth doing it if you're trying to grind things, which honestly for a long time, most of my tier 7s, I've ground them through Narai because I'm just not interested in random. It's not fun. It's not a fun experience. Hey, what's something that Algery did, I don't know whether you picked up on it, but he got shots off on the cruiser. He took him down to half HP in almost just one volley. But the carrier survived and he died anyway. Best thing he could have done there was just to take out the carrier, because if we hadn't had someone in position to have been able to take the carrier out, he wouldn't have gotten 5 stars, we wouldn't have gotten 5 stars, and if he doesn't get 5 stars, it's not worth it for him. If you're gonna die, try and get it so you get that 5th star. That's best I can say there. Something that happened in this game and a couple other games that got me really irritated, but I got over it. But if you see my torpedo tubes, they get knocked out there, I repair them, and then very quickly they get absolutely destroyed. That wasn't fun. It happened several times in the one game, and if you look in the top right, this is where you know that this is a great time if you're a brawler. From here on, right to the end of the game, you can't see the damage figures because you're getting secondary hits markers. It's just constant brawling action, and it's a lot of fun. This is normally my favourite part of the game. If I'm in a cruiser, I normally do things very different. Like I'll sit a little further back, I'll be waiting behind islands, ready to get especially the cruisers when they go past. I'll be ready to talk to the battleships so that I take minimal damage, but if I'm in the Scharnhorst, most battleships, but especially the Scharnhorst or the Narai, this is where I am. I'm in the centre of it, having the time of my life. And I know that a lot of a number of my friends, they're the same. They're right there, they're doing it as well. This is the favourite operation of quite a lot of people that I know. Here come the last of the ships. They get quite a lot of, I think it's about 3 waves, 4 waves, I can't remember. I just shoot them. I haven't paid a lot of attention to how many waves there are. But this is where a lot of waves come in, and yeah, you gotta be careful. I got myself slightly caught out here. I should have known where they came in, roughly, but I got in the wrong point. And instead of getting myself positioned so that I could talk to Colorado at some point, I lost an opportunity, partially because of the torpedo tubes being destroyed, and it was on the wrong side, but I could have still angled myself so that I was on the other side of him, facing the other way, and still being able to get some damage on him. Up to over 260 secondary hits, and it's still going. Like I say, this just keeps going right until the end, until the final enemy ship is taken out, which is coming up right now. Well, coming up very soon, in a few seconds. I was trying to get myself so that I could get some shots off him, try and get him taken out. I wasn't intending to ram him, but there was a little bit extra damage, so I'm not going to complain. Not a lot of damage, but we won. You'll see some results coming up soon. I hope that you enjoyed the game, and we'll see you next time. Ka kite anō.